said to be in Fnaf. For example, Henry, Purple Guy, delete singers in each of the locations. But has anybody stopped to find out who is the true boss? Well, some say that you are the true boss, and that everything that happened to you because those animatronics went rogue and decided to finally eat you. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Fnaf Theory Thinking, and today you might have seen the title. Today, Matt has made another video where, yeah, I would be more excited about this if I didn't know what that meant. Hold on, I'm just pulling up. So, yeah. Hold on, am I actually live? Oh my goodness. Okay, everything is laggy on my end. Oh yeah, I am live. What then? Why did I see the... Oh, haha, yeah, change what's going on. Oh, okay, I misread the title. And the thumbnail. The thumbnail is "You're gonna hate this." Yeah, the title is "You're gonna hate this," and the thumbnail says "FNAF's final boss." Hold on. Okay, so now you guys should be able to talk. Okay, there we go. So now you guys are apparently gonna hate this video. That's a lie. But whatever to make mine and MatPat's ego large. So yeah, we're back on the guest account from Google because I searched too much to my personal account and also my second account. Nothing bad, just some. Some of my friends might know what I'm doing. But yeah, let's start this video.
Testing, testing. Oh boy, you're not gonna like this one, but I think we're right.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that started so many flame wars. We were a pizzaplex. So right now I'm in the middle of re-examining.
Okay, you're right about that one because theory about the crying child being Michael Afton. I want to destroy this channel for that.
Examining every piece of Fnaf lore the series has ever produced in order to construct a definitive timeline for the series. Or, I suppose, as definitive as possible for the series, considering, it's Fnaf. That means that me and Tom and head editor Dan are combing over every misleading teaser, every line of hidden website source, every page of the novels and their accompanying graphic novels, and every questionable skin FAR from Big Chungus Springtrap to Statue of Liberty Chica. Because nothing says America branding a national monument with a giant toga-wearing murder chillin' for pizza. And our forefathers wept. Anyway, since this is an absolutely massive quest, we've broken the timeline down into 3 core chunks. Foundation is the Afton era and post-Purple Guy. Basically everything that had post-Springtrap getting torched in FNAF 6. And while that timeline theory is still in the works, we've already made some discoveries. Some big, small, and it's one of the bigger ones that brings us here today. You see, as we were rewatching all the cutscenes from FNAF 6, we heard this line from the completion ending of the game.
Thank you for your participation. There is no need for you to return to work next week, as Fazbear Entertainment is no longer a corporate entity.
Oh sure, everyone remembers the whole "don't keep the devil waiting" bit during that. All of us tend to forget what comes after the fire. An acknowledgement that Fazbear Entertainment is no longer a corporate entity. When Henry dies in that fire, the game makes it that the company dies with him. But that doesn't make any sense knowing what we know now. In FNAF VR, AR, and Security Breach, Fazbear Entertainment is alive and still very much running.
That's true. Because I think that they want to make us think that Henry is the person in charge of entertainment, but if Henry died and then the Fast 6 completion ending, the connection terminated ending. If that says that Fazbear Entertainment is no longer a corporate entity, then what about those 3 games? Help Wanted, FNAF AR, and Security Breach. You know what? I also have FNAF AR on my phone, and I have not played it in a while. But I should probably go back to playing it because there are so many series that we can probably make from every single game. I mean, I played a little bit of Help Wanted. If you are new to Help Wanted, never played the repairs first. You may think that they're easy, thanks to the Bonnie one, but trust me, when you get to the Chica one, and I've watched so many FNAF playthroughs, and I played some of the games. What is going yes. FNAF 6 could be the last part of the timeline. That's what I'm thinking. FNAF 6 is the last part of the timeline. Because, I mean, that'll make everything else make sense. FNAF 6 is the last part of the timeline. You know what? Where the heck is it? One of my friends was supposed to join me. Hold on. Please. Please, I can't do theories on my own. Please. Okay, find it. I'll call the iMessage group chat. Just waiting for someone to respond. Do, 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 do. Okay, well,
In fact, the company seems stronger than ever, building a giant mega pizzaplex that towers over anything the company's ever done before. So what gives? A dissolved company can't be going around making games, and they certainly aren't building new 80s inspired animatronics, are they? All of it seems to imply that someone restarted the company between Fnaf 6 and Fnaf VR. And it was that single, simple observation, my friends, that led us down a rabbit hole I believe may have solved another core part of Security's endlessly frustrating story. First, we wanted to prove to ourselves that this corporate restart was a real thing. Throughout the core gameplay of FNAF 6, if you buy and display animatronics with a high reliability rating, you get a it's a fun little mechanic, no being sued, lawsuits, and decide whether to pay a lawyer to fight for you or just pay the listed amount to settle the case. It's a fun, quirky gameplay mechanic that fits with the humor of the franchise. However, there's a detail within these lawsuits that's important. If you take a look at the names, you'll see that the defendant is listed as Fazbear Entertainment, Inc. Those last three letters are important. That INC there means that Fazbear Incorporated Company. It means that Fazbear Entertainment has shareholders, people that own stocks within the company. There are also two different types of corporations: S-Corps, which tend to be small, C-Corps, which tend to be bigger. Trust me, you don't really want to know any of that, nor do you need to know any of it for this theory, just because it's knowledge that Steph and I have accumulated over the last decade of doing this work as business owners, and I just wanted it to be validated at some point in my... Anyway, useless business information. As we hear at the end of FNAF 6, Fazbear Entertainment Inc. has been dissolved.
Fazbear Entertainment is no longer a corporate entity.
We can assume that Henry, in his final act before sacrificing his life, dissolved any and all ownership remaining in the company so it would die with him, which is why it's so weird that suddenly it's back. And not just back, but back in a complete new form. In Security Breach, if you check out the balloon arcade cabinet above the daycare, on the title screen you'll find that the copyright is now owned by a brand new company, Fazbear Entertainment, LLC. Again, those last three letters there are important. They stand for Limited Liability Company. Basically, it means that the owners of the business aren't shareholders, but rather one or a small group of individuals be held responsible for the debts of the business. For instance, if the Fazbear business took a small loan of $1 million but couldn't pay it back, the banks couldn't then approach Henry or William's personally demanding repayment. LLC members also aren't usually responsible for the co-owner's negligence or wrongdoing, which again, knowing the history of this company is probably gonna be a better...
that is smart. If you run a business that was previously owned by a serial killer, if you make that business an LLC, that means you can't be sued for what that serial Ah, okay, but yeah, that's smart. That is really, really smart. That is so smart, in fact, that I thought about it before I started wanting to be friends with Afton. I really wish I thought about that. Yeah. But anyways, back to the video.
business arrangement. Most importantly of all, though, LLCs tend to be held by one or a few individuals rather than a collection of shareholders. And this actually explains a lot. If you go for the Afton ending of Security Breach, you go down the elevator only to discover the FNAF 6 pizzeria underneath the whole thing. Try explaining that decision to your shareholders. We're just gonna build our new mall on top of that old burnt down pizzeria. That'll rake in the big bucks. How about the fact that we get Mess of Fazwatch from building contractors concerned about building a giant mall for the equivalent of a sinkhole? Again, this doesn't feel like something able to do if the company had shares, but if the business is owned by a single individual, they could essentially do whatever they wanted. They don't have to answer to anyone. In short, evidence to suggest that someone has restarted the Fazbear brand under this new corporate entity. But who would do that? Why would they do that?
Would it be bad if said that I think Vanessa's the reason why this whole thing is restarted. I'm thinking because Vanessa was kind of made into Vanny by Glitch Trap. One person possessed by Glitch Trap is in charge of Fazbear Entertainment. Whatever happens, so then if one of them gets killed, Glitch Trap can just go to the after can just go to the other person and restart the whole process of running for entertainment. That makes sense? No. Isn't this like theory? Yes. But something's making me question. Checking that my mic is still enabled. Yeah, but something else that is making me question. Why? If you're the owner of Fazbear Entertainment, why hunt a small child unless you want to recreate what happened in the past? Okay, that doesn't make that much sense, but you get what led me to think this, right? If not, to comment down below what you know what. Just comment down below what theories you guys have.
Do that. Was I just chasing down a lead that didn't matter? No, because I wasn't the one asking the question. In December of 2021, this book was released, the Fnaf Ultimate Guide. Basically your one-stop shop for anything important to the franchise, written by himself, Scott Cawthon, and only Scott Cawthon. This thing is robust. It contains every dialogue, every game mechanic, a summary of every Fazbear fright, and a description for practically every one of the nearly 150 characters introduced into the franchise. If it ain't in here, it probably ain't worth your brains. Book explicitly calls something out, well, it's probably gonna be worth a look. And wouldn't you know it, but in the Fnaf AR description of the Glitch Trap virus, we get this quote. The cease work order from the Fazbear Entertainment Office of Legal to indicate that the company at some point becomes aware of the problem and tries to stop it. That leaves one question, just who is running the company? And it was
This is the worst time. Oh God, I forgot that you guys. It's delayed. Oh no. You laugh when you're reacting to something. That's why I should probably react to it on my personal account. But you know what? Next time that MadPat releases a FNAF 3 video, if I react to it on my personal Google account, no judging anything that's on it. Right, guys? I mean, not I'll read the comments anyway, but still.
It was here that I was onto something. The fact that the Ultimate Guide felt the need to realize that this is absolutely something that we need to be solving. Are in place for us. It is now time for us to put it all back together. So let's figure out who's over at the new improved Fazbear Entertainment LLC, shall we? Well, let's consider what exactly that person is doing. First, they're building a brand new location over the remains of the old FNAF 6 location. That right there is a huge red flag. Why not just bulldoze a new one? Unless, of course, they know what's down there. Because remember, underneath it all lies the heart and soul of Afton. They are choosing to build their new location on top of his literal gravesite. The head of this new Fazbear Entertainment LLC wants access to him. And as we see at the end of the game, it seems like their goal is to bring him back to his former glory. But just having access to Afton's body, this person wants more. We know that the head of Fazbear Entertainment LLC has been actively taking an interest in Vanessa of security, despite her having no qualifications for the position. We know this based on in-game message. Interview notes. As requested, here are my notes on today's Chief Security Officer interview. While Vanessa seemed eager and bright, she doesn't appear to have any relevant background experience. I realize the recommendation came from the top, but we need someone who's in security facility of the scale. I do not recommend her for this position. Based on this email, Vanessa should have never gotten the position, but note that it's marked for deletion. Someone wanted to hide the poor interview performance. Someone at the top. In yet another email, we see this. Quote again, new hire summary, head security guard, no prior qualifications, internal reference, name withheld. The person putting Vanessa forward for the job is trying to stay anonymous. Hold on, why would someone want to hire Vanessa despite her limited experience? Well, the only really special thing about her is that she's possessed by glitch trap. So if someone's trying to bring Afton back, preserving his body under Pizzaplex, it makes sense to get someone into the Pizzaplex who houses the only other part of Afton that remains, his consciousness, in the form.
Okay, that's about the leader. Someone is trying to bring it back. I know it's Henry because, well, why would Henry want Afton to burn in? Why would Henry want Afton to burn in heck if he was just going to bring him back? Unless, no, but actually that doesn't make any sense because why would Afton be trying to bring himself back with Vanessa when he's already possessing the person in charge, so he could just take his conscience out of that person? Low.
Of the glitch trap virus. But who would possibly want to bring a serial killer back to life? I mean, think about what this person has done. They've restarted an entire company. They've hired third-party and old circuit boards. They've rebranded the franchise, built a mall, and then doctored emails to hire someone in an effort to resurrect Afton. Who would do that? Who would go to that level of extreme? Can't be Vanessa. She can't hire herself. Can't be Michael. He's always trying to get rid of Afton. Can't be Henry. He dissolved the company in the first place. Can't be Gregory because he's trying to destroy the animatronics. But there is one it can be.
I will make you proud, Daddy.
That makes sense. That really makes sense. Because, I mean, the Blob has the circus face, has the circus baby animatronic face. Now, what I think is that if the eyes are not glowing, that means either A, her soul has moved on, or B, it's possessing something else. Or C is just away from the circus baby animatronic. But still, it's probably Elizabeth. Elizabeth is probably the one that is trying to resurrect Afton.
The only person who would be that motivated to bring Afton back to life. The one person that through all of the games they've appeared in has been on Afton's side wanting to keep his vision alive. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I submit to you that Elizabeth Afton is the one in control of the new Fazbear Entertainment LLC. I guess you could call her the boss baby. I will now pause and give you a chance to write your collective groans, frustrations, and general vitriol.
No. Why would that joke? No, just stop enough jokes. jokes are worse than the actual that Cassidy made for William. It's somehow worse than that, and I can't even complete that 50-20 mode, and now I can never complete that mode. It's somehow worse than that. Let's continue with the video, and I will write so many angry comments and this, like, in the comment section when we're done with the stream.
Comments. While you're doing that, let me quickly remind you that right above that fiery comment section is our merch shelf, where it's your last chance to pre-order our new ARG jacket, the puzzle that you wear. Once that thing's gone, it is gone forever. So get your orders in this weekend. But you know what? If you don't want the hassle of solving your clothes and you just want to be snugly and warm this holiday season, might I suggest some of our other things that we have in stock right now, including the Dreamweave blanket and the Pickle Player lounge pant and hoodie. They're snuggly, they're warm, they make it look like you just stepped out of an 8-bit. Make your orders now so that way you get them in time for Christmas. All right, you done venting in the comments? Told you this one would make you mad. Let's see what you wrote. And yes, I'm doing this from the past. But Elizabeth had baby's eyes are blacked out in the blob. She died in FNAF 6. Yep, all of those are perfectly valid. I know it sounds insane. Believe me. No one recognizes that more than me. But I ask you, what character that's meant to be dead in this franchise ever stayed dead? Let's just look at the...
Yeah, true, because all the animatronics possess somebody, and they wanted Afton to die for what he did. But Afton the person can stay dead, and we know that from this model. Getting scrap trap voice ready. I always come back. Yes, I found a way to do that.
The fact, shall we? Our server theory on this game drew attention to all the similarities between Elizabeth Afton and Vanessa. They both like flowers, they both have an abusive and manipulative father named William A., and of course, there's the blonde hair and green eyes. However, we've never been able to actually figure out how these two characters are connected beyond them just being similar. Could it just be another instance of this franchise doing what I like to call pulling a Jeremy? That's using the same detail multiple times just to confuse us. But you see, there's a bit more that's suspicious about Vanessa. There's one thing that me and every other theorist out there has been scared to tackle in this game, and it's this: security breaches fire escape ending. In it, Glam yeets Vanny off a burning pizzaplex, sending both of them to their death. Gregory pulls off the Vanny mask to reveal that it was Vanessa the whole time! A twist that surprised literally no one. Except after the credits, we went up to the roof to see security guard Vanessa looking down as the building burns around her. Excuse me, what? Two Vanessas? Everyone just kind of collectively hand-waved this away. It must be a hallucination. Maybe it's her spirit still pizzaplex. Or maybe, just maybe, Vanny and Vanessa have always been two separate individuals. Two twin sisters.
In Security Breach Fury's Rage, we get her sisters. That's one of the bosses in Fury's Rage. And I think it could be possible that one of the sisters, maybe Vanessa, went to go save her other sister after being taken over by Glitch Trap.
Recently, a new theorist has entered the ring with some pretty interesting things to say about Security Breach. John from the YouTube channel Fnaf. And while I was busy coining the catchphrase Music Man, busy in his corner preaching the gospel of the VR sisters. Remember them? Why would you? So let me refresh your memory. In case you've forgotten, Security Breach delayed a lot. I mean, a lot. And at one point, Scott Coffin, worried that the fan base would be upset about heated delays, decided to release a short little meme all over, a beat-em-up title called Fury's Rage.
The fan base, they find out that I have to delay the game again. They're gonna kill me. What am I gonna do? I know. I'll make a game for them.
4 straightforward levels with a secret boss at the end, punching through waves of the franchise's most notable enemies: Freddy Frostbear, Clown Springtrap, Radioactive Foxy, El Chip, and the rest of the variations of Chica, the Puppet, Mangle, Baby. As for the bosses, most of them are jokes. Sure, you've got Vanny, but there's also Mega Brow, which is just Brow Boy from FNAF World. There's Soul Brawler, which is a reference to one of Scott's earlier games, Soul Dozer. And the secret final to the game, Dreamgeist, basically a giant troll about fan theories. And yet, in this game full of memes and tongue-in-cheek references, there's one set of characters that don't quite fit. The first level's boss, the VR. They're the only truly original characters for this game. Literally everyone else you can point to and understand what the reference is. Now, that is weird. Why would Scott put the time and effort into designing them, coming up with a name, and purposely putting them in there for us to look at if they weren't important in some way? With Vanessa being taken over by the glitch trap virus in Fnaf VR, makes sense for this in relation to her in some way. She's a VR sister. And then her having a twin sister would explain why there could be a second Vanessa at the burning building during the ending. What is it that
That makes a ton of sense. And I think I see where you're gonna go to from there. Sessa's one of the sisters. And then it's possible that Elizabeth Afton is reincarnated to be the second sister. That sounds confusing, and I wish that one of my friends were here just to be theorying with me. But anyways.
John's been saying lately in his theory vids?
Need more proof?
Yeah, I do. You probably do. Luckily, I have it for you. Once you get to level 4 of Fury's Rage, you find yourself in some sort of factory surrounded by conveyors and magnets holding up humanoid robot torsos. In the end, you fight Vanny and the game ends. But wait, before you get to the bottle, there's one very crucial detail in the level that everyone overlooked. An orange pod with a female figure sitting in. I've seen enough sci-fi to know that that right there is a birthing pod, and the figure inside looks an awful lot like Baby from the Fourth Closet graphic novel. That's right, friendos, it's time once again for everyone's favorite segment, is the lore of multiple FNAF books to explain parts of the game that make no sense.
Hooray! Time to wait. A graphic novel, I just don't know where. Huh. So it's time for some theories from the graphic novel book.
Fourth Closet, Baby Virgins take a weird turn. She's actually a robot built by Henry to help replace his daughter Charlie after her death. You see, Henry creates a robot for each stage of his daughter's life: toddler, teenager, and finally adult. In his mind, this was to grow his life: toddler, child,
See the child in the book.
teenager, finally adult. In his mind, this would allow her to grow up with everyone else around her. And this gave us our first confirmed instance of robot kids being a thing inside of the series. Robots that are capable of bleeding, eating, feeling cold. And here's this twist of all. Baby is the final adult form of Charlie, which, let's just say I have some strong feelings about. People hate when I talk about the books. The books tell you the rough guidelines or rough rules of the universe. When you look at the books and there's this heated thing of creators building robot kids. Okay, well, apparently that's their game. And then to take it one insane logical step further and say, not only are they building robotic versions of kids, but multiple versions of robotic kids at different ages, I would say you are insane. That's so stupid. It is a weird thing for them to do, and it challenges realism to such an absurd degree that you're like, yeah, no one's noticing that this person that they're eating with and that bleeds, again, because they bleed in the books, that bleeds, no one is noticing that this person doesn't age, eating in order to survive, but is also like perfectly passable as a human in every other way, shape, and form. That's crazy. And then the books layer on, and it's also Baby, who is a robot clown. And you're like, that's so stupid. I feel like no wonder people think that the theories that we produce are insane, because it is, but we're just telling you what the books say. Welcome to the books, I guess. What's also interesting is that in the books, it's clear that previous versions of the robot humans don't have to stop working in order for newer, more grown-up models to activate. Both teenage Charlie and adult Charlie, aka Baby, are really sentient with their own goals and motivations. One wanting to live a normal life completely unaware that she's a robot, and the other looking to kill children in service of William Afton, bitter because she's a robot. Sounds a lot like the relationship between a certain young security guard and her twin sister Murder Rabbit. Now, while we have no evidence to really support Charlie being rebuilt in the game lore like she was in the books, it does seem like Elizabeth may have multiple sisters of herself running around. In the words of John, who first proposed this one a year ago,
it could be very well possible that once Elizabeth died, William Afton not too soon after rebuilt her and built different ages of her throughout the years, just like we see in the books in robot form. So that could be VR sister.
That does make a lot of sense because there are two Vanessas, and we know that there are definitely two Charlies in the fourth closet book. Well, if you've actually read the book, I'm looking at you, Curtis. You never read the book, have you? Read that whole thing of the fourth closet multiple times. I know what I'm talking about. But anyways, yeah, but back to what I was talking about. It is possible that instead of Henry rebuilding Charlie, which also could happen, like if we see another Charlie running around, we know that would have happened. Well, Henry is dead, so I don't know who would have rebuilt Charlie then. Maybe the mom? But anyways. Since there's two Vanessas running around, that would also mean that there's probably more Vanessas, aka Elizabeth, running around.
Versions of the same person.
You know what? I think he's right. At the time, we didn't have the evidence, but now, I think he was ahead of his time. Move over, Gregory! There's a new robot human in town, and her name, Elizabeth Afton, and Vanessa Annie, and probably the head of Fazbear Entertainment LLC too. All iterations of the same person from different life stages. All Elizabeth Afton. Some aware of who they really are, and some not. And one of those versions is Ruin DLC. Some of Security Breach's cut dialogue there are definitely feminine, but also some that clearly mix in a young girlish tone. Hear that last one? Clearly there's a childish girl laugh with a bit of a British accent mixed in there, exactly like the voice of Elizabeth from Sister Location. Sites like the Cutting Room Floor attribute these as cut Vanny lines, which makes sense considering that there aren't females in the game, but that laugh seems awfully young for Vanessa, or Vanny. And that's not all. Going back to Fury's Rage, notice the shoes on the VR sisters, specifically the cool purple sneakers. I could have sworn that they had matched the design of the blonde girl's light-up sneakers in the DLC poster, but upon closer inspection, yeah, it was close, but not strong enough of a match for me to call it out in a theory. Then, right? No. Notice the two colors on those shoes, red and purple. Very specific shades of red and purple. And what's the coloring of our two VR sisters? Red and purple. Seems that maybe, just maybe, this blonde girl is also part of the Elizabeth sisters. So, that would actually...
Yep, so we might also be able to play as Elizabeth Afton. Yay. We now see 3 Elizabeths. You know, William, if you just want a perfect family, you should have just asked and not became a serial killer. That's right. If you wanted a perfect family, just don't become a serial killer. That's all, and then you would have had your perfect family.
Give us our 4 closets. Baby, the original, young girl Elizabeth in the Ruin DLC, Vanessa, the twin guard according to the Fnaf AR emails, and Vanny, who, you know, just might be slightly older. Her being a robot would also explain how she survived a massive fall from the top of a pizza plex without being totally disfigured. Personally, I think this would actually be a pretty cool idea, having all the versions of Elizabeth come together. Vanny, Vanessa, maybe even the original baby would show up to complete the tribe of robot Elizabeths. But doesn't all of this disprove my initial theory? If Vanny is the adult of Elizabeth, then doesn't that mean we're out of Elizabeths to run Fazbear Entertainment LLC? We filled all 4 closets. Well, not quite. Because when you get to the very end of that final book, Charlie's love interest John stands by Charlie's grave after all the other known versions of her have died. He looks up and sees none other than yet another, slightly older version of Charlie standing in front of him. I kind of just wrote this off initially as a cute ending, but in the wake of what we're talking about this whole time, it reveals that there were never just 4 closets. There were never just 4 versions of Charlie. There were more. Potentially an infinite number of them, which honestly makes sense. Can't have a 20-something-year-old Charlie looking 20 forever. 2 would need to age up to look like a woman in her 30s, her 40s, her 50s. This idea is also shown in Fury's Rage. While the VR sisters are the first bosses, after you defeat them, they become regular enemies during the 3rd level. There are dozens of them that come out to attack you, one after the other after the other. New ones being built to achieve their purpose. Other bosses don't do that in the game. And in Stage 4, those robot torsos hanging from the ceiling, they look a little bit more on the feminine side to me. Robot women being built by the boatload, ready to replace the ones that we destroy, be they VR sisters or security guards or murderous rats. And at the top of the food chain is an older, wiser, more vengeful version of Elizabeth pulling the strings, looking to bring her fam of robots all back together to the same place. I suppose you could say it makes the Pizzaplex the true sister location. But hey, say all you want about Elizabeth's business practices, she knows how to dress up a joint. I've always loved how the Pizzaplex looks. That 80s neon style just hits the nostalgia button hard for me. Fortunately, the metal posters from our sponsor Displate are here to scratch that very itch. Now I'm able to have all those bright neon colors fill in the office even when we're not focusing on FNAF's ridiculous lore. Notably, I had a bunch of our team come over to our home base in Raleigh recently and quickly realized that we hadn't decorated the place. So we headed over to Displate to add some much needed style to our blank walls. Now our team isn't just walking into a blank office, they're heading into the gaming zone. And what's great about Displate posters is that they're super durable. They're made out of a high quality metal, which means that they're not gonna tear, they're not gonna rip, they do not fade ever. I've gotten so many posters from Displate over the years, and despite a cross-country move and several redecorating sessions, these things look just as good and just as vibrant as they did when I first got them. And thanks to Displate's huge library of metal posters, whatever your preferred aesthetic is, you are bound to find a number of designs that really speak to who you are. Maybe prefer some posters of flowers or ice cream, you know, anything that doesn't constantly remind you of killer animatronics that destroyed your fan. And when you change your mind and you want to switch up your aesthetic, great. Displate's signature magnet hanging technology means there's no need to get out the 200 more holes in your wall. You simply take off the old poster and put the new one up. It is as simple as swapping out a refrigerator magnet. Only solving this for so simple. Using Displate posters to decorate your space is easy, straightforward, they look great, and it saves you so much time, so there's always room for just one more game. And I haven't even told you that's news, friends. Displate is now offering you theorists their biggest discount ever. If you want to buy 1 to 2 posters, you're about to get yourself 35% off, which is pretty impressive. If you get 3 to 4 posters, that's 39% off your order. Normally, that's where our deal would end, but just like with FNAF, it keeps going. Because if you're like me and you just ordered 5 or more posters, well, my friends, you are going to get 44% off that order. That means that you're going to have plenty of money left over in your pockets to rebuild any failing pizza chain restaurants that you want, or afford a couple more extra presents this holiday season. Just head on down to the description and click the link there to get that special discount only available to you theorists, which will then be automatically at checkout. So you better be quick, it's only for a limited time, so jump on that deal like an animatronic jumping at your face. Once again, head on down to the description, get my limited time discount, and start building your dream space today. And as always, my friends, remember, it's just a theory. Okay!
Hey guys, what's up?
I think it's time that we talk about what we just saw. So, what we just saw, I really think my Pat might be onto something about there being more Elizabeth, because it really seems like Vanessa might have something to tie on, might have some stuff to tie on to Elizabeth. And so does whoever is running Fazbear Entertainment, because why would they build above Afton's grave unless trying to resurrect him? But yet again, he could also be wrong. Like, it could also be Evan Afton trying to find his father so he can finally win his father's love. Just got free from Cassidy and now is trying to win his father's love. But like what was said, it's pretty hard to believe some of this stuff. And you know what? I really think we need to find more proof. So that is why we are now. I'm now going to make this a series, FNAF Theory Thinking series, and I'll make a playlist for that so you can add that so you can watch episodes. And remember, guys, that's just a theory, a game theory. Thanks for watching. Also remember